Hello, Forward Momentum members. Pete Mitchell here with today's training. And this is going to be a really important training. If you don't have something to take notes with, I want to encourage you to pause the video, go grab some paper, go grab a pen, because this strategy that I'm going to share with you has made me personally, I don't know, in the six figures, not in seven figures yet, though I use it all the time. It has helped so many real estate agents to make so much money. It's ridiculous. And it's incredibly simple, does not take a lot of thinking, does not take a lot of work, because I'm literally going to lay it all out for you. You're going to definitely want to take notes and pause the video as we go through this. And then you just want to implement this idea, because this is one that works like crazy. And I got to tell you exactly how I came up with this idea. So I'm going to be sharing with you what I call a simple system to generate a commission check right now. So what does that mean right now? It means getting a listing or getting a buyer. Obviously, you got to then go through the time it's going to take you to close it, and then get the commission check. But let's face it, if you get a listing, if you get a buyer who's ready and you're able to work with them, you're going to make a commission check. So that's what I mean by right now. Let me go here to the right screen. So let me ask you, who else considers themselves to be a massive introvert? If you're not an introvert, you've got it lucky. I consider myself to be a massive introvert. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm easily 49, 50. I'm really an introvert. And that doesn't mean what a lot of people think it means. Like, I have no problem public speaking. And you think, well, an introvert's not going to like that. I actually love that sort of thing. I love podcasting. I love doing webinars. I love hanging out with people that I know. The introvert in me comes up in having to talk to people who I don't know. So Debbie and I, back before COVID, we traveled all over the country. I might have met you at one of the events that she and I went to. We were constantly speaking. I mean, many times we were traveling 3-4 places in the country in a given week and speaking. And there was always this time when she'd go, okay, we got to go meet everyone. And I would cringe. Like inside of me, I'm dying because I hate that kind of thing. And I think that's the reason too why I hate cold calling. I don't like rejection. I mean, really, that's what it all comes down to. Is it's a rejection thing. I think for me personally, may not be for you. But the reason why I ask this question, if you have any kind of tendency like that, I'm going to show you how to sell more, even if you're an introvert and you hate rejection. Now, if you're not an introvert, this is going to be even better for you because you get to take this and just run with it. What you're going to leave this video with is you're going to know how to sell even more using a simple 4-step system that will leave you so excited that you implement right away. Now, I said I was an introvert. If I was a stick figure girl, this would be me at parties. Everyone else is talking, having a good time. I'm in the corner talking to the cat. I am a wallflower when I go to parties. I remember many a time I'd go to work outings, and if it was like people I didn't know or they didn't know me, man, I'm telling you, I'm over there by myself. People always come up to me, what's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with me. I'm just an introvert. Like, oh, you're always goofing around. You're always having a good time. Yeah, that's got nothing to do with being an introvert. Introvert just means, I don't know, I get around people and all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, why am I here? That's not how I charge, right? Some people, they get charged up by being around a group of people. Other people like me, I get charged up by going and being alone. That's the introvert, how you get recharged. So you got to ask yourself, what introvert in his right mind goes into sales? Well, this guy right here did. And the reason why I did it is because I realized that for me to get to where it is I want to go in life, I have to do things that in my case make me very uncomfortable. Talking to people I don't know, yeah, that makes me uncomfortable. So I pretty much had to build my whole business around getting people to call me, getting people to reach out to me, to making my life as rejection-free as possible. And in doing that, I learned I can actually get a lot more business and connect with a lot more people. So that's what I'm going to be showing you here. So how to generate sales now. The biggest problem for most agents is this. They don't know how to generate sales on demand. I'm going to show you in our time today how to do that. Another problem that they don't have the confidence that they can do it. And I used to be in that situation. For me, everything changed on April 1st, 2004. I go, what in the world happened on April 1st, 2004? You probably don't remember this, but that was the day that Gmail came out. In fact, when it came out, here's how crazy this was, right? Think about this time in our history. It came out, it was invitation only to get a Gmail account. So you couldn't just go sign up for one. You had to be invited. So people that had it were turning around and selling their email addresses on eBay for like 500 bucks. Can you imagine paying $500 to get a Gmail address? No, because today we just go and we sign up and okay, I got a Gmail account. Maybe you have 2 or 3 Gmail accounts. Times were different back then. In fact, email open rates in 2004 were 61.23%. Could you imagine that? You had a list of 10,000 people, or like Debbie's list of quite a lot more, and we sent out an email and 61% of it opened up. Oh my gosh, man, our business would just be exploding. It would be awesome. But something happened. Life changed. Everyone started using email. Everyone started marketing to people via email. Open rates went down. In fact, in 2019, open rates plummeted all the way down to 20.4% on average. Because of that, there are many people that have said email is dead. Now, I don't believe that email is dead. We use it all the time. Debbie and I use it in our businesses a lot. I mean, in fact, the reason why you're here is probably because you got an email and a text saying, or at least an email saying, hey, it's time for our training. When you can, jump on. We use email all the time. So I don't believe it's dead, but I do believe that email is on life support. So the day that my life changed is I started to see these numbers in email starting to go down, because I got really good at communicating with people via email and getting them to respond back to me. But as those open rates started to go down, my business started to dry up and I needed to come up with a new way. So my life changed when this guy right here, his name is Carl Ubanis. Something happened with Carl. I'm going to share that story with you. This is an event that I held where I was training people on how to be what's called a social media consultant. Basically, someone like me who would go around and help someone like you as a real estate professional who doesn't want to take all the time to do all their social media stuff. They wanted someone else to do it for them. Well, I train guys and gals on how to do that. And I had this program. And I needed to get more people to sign up for it. So I sent out a text message. Text message simply said this: hey, Carl, Pete Mitchell here. What did you think about the social media consultant program? Simple as that. I get a reply back within probably 5-10 minutes. I don't remember exactly how long it was. Hey, Pete, thanks for following up. I was a little skeptical at first, but just checked out the video and never felt so understood. I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. That changed my life. Wait a second, you mean I can send this out and make sales that way? In fact, depending on what programs you've gone through, you've probably gotten an email very similar to that from me. And you might, in fact, be in this program because you responded back and said, oh, well, this is a question I got about, the Forward Momentum course or whatever it might be, because we use this strategy quite a bit. Now, here's the thing. I sent that same message to 10 people. Didn't send it out to a lot, just to 10. 6 people responded out of the 10. 3 bought my $2,400 course. But here's the thing. That message was sent at 1:30 a.m. I made a huge mistake. I was learning this new texting platform. I hit the wrong button. Next thing you know, That message got sent out to 10 people. So I got 6 responses. 3 of them were people really upset at me. Why are you texting me at between 1:30 and 3:30? Because I think at least 2 of them were on the East Coast, and I'm on the West Coast. So, 3-hour time difference. It was even worse for them. Of course, I don't know, 1:30 or 3:30. You're pretty much getting woken up at a bad time. But then I was like, wait a second. I still made, what was that, 7,000 and change from sending a text to 10 people. Okay, there's something to this. So I sat down to figure out a system I'm going to share with you here. I call it the Instant Client Goldmine Strategy. By the way, I was invited to speak at this group called Genius Network. Genius Network is a networking group for the highest level entrepreneurs in the country. Well, technically the world, because there's people there from Mexico, Canada, UK, Australia. Anyway, $25,000 group. I was invited to speak at it to share this strategy with you. Now, here's the criteria that you have to meet in order to share an idea. You have to share it in 10 minutes, and it has to be worth $250,000 in increased and additional revenue. And I share that with you so you understand that this idea I'm sharing with you, one, it's not complicated, because I delivered the whole thing in 10 minutes. And everyone was like, I got to do that. In fact, the owner of Genius Network was like, you got to do that for my business. That simple. And everyone there was like, this is going to make us a lot of money. So I want you to understand that's what I'm sharing with you here. So don't just take this as one of those great ideas and not implement it. This is the one that you want to implement. Now, before we get started, I'm going to give you my disclaimer here. It is your responsibility to know the laws in your area, to know your board rules when it comes to sending emails, when it comes to texting, when it comes to calling. Do not spam. Do not violate the do not call laws. The do not call laws apply to texting. They apply to ringless voicemail. They apply to anything you do on a phone. So it is not just cold calling. It is anything you do on a phone. It is cold texting. Don't violate those laws. In fact, what I'm going to show you, you really want to do with your database. So the first step, and we typically do this in week 1, is we send out what I call the pink elephant letter. So what's the pink elephant letter? Well, I want you to imagine, of course, right now my face is probably right where the elephant's head is, so that's kind of perfect, right? I want you to imagine this. A lot of times real estate agents will come to me and they'll be like, well, Pete, I got this database, I got a couple hundred people in there, but if I'm going to be honest about it, I don't really talk to them very often. And now all of a sudden I'm going to be hitting them up for business. It seems kind of awkward. I go, yeah, it's like we're sitting in a room and you're on one side of the room, I'm on the other, and right in the middle of us is this big pink elephant, and no one really wants to address the fact that there's a big pink elephant in the room. We're trying to talk around it. Well, here's how we deal with that. We send out the pink elephant letter. Here's what the pink elephant letter says. Dear Bob, just the other day, my staff and I took some time to review our business, and we've come to the conclusion that the most important assets we have in this business are the relationships we've developed in our personal and professional lives. I also have to confess that I have not been as proactive in my personal communications as I would have liked. It's to that point that I want you to know I've taken appropriate steps to start communicating with you more frequently, be it a newsletter, personal card, or follow-up telephone call from the office. Please consider it tangible evidence that I'm putting my relationship with you back where it needs to be, that is first in my business. In the near future, you'll begin receiving my newsletter via mail. Meanwhile, if you have any questions or if we can help you in any way, please don't hesitate to call us. Sincerely, Pete Mitchell. So what have I done? I've addressed the pink elephant in the room. Hey, you know what? I was taking stock of my business and I realized that the most important assets are my relationships with people like you. And if I'm going to be honest about it, I haven't been doing that too good. I'm going to fix that. So know that when you receive something from me in the future, be it mail, a phone call, a text, it's because I value you. What have I done? I've just killed the pink elephant. It's gone. No one cares anymore. I know now when you reach out to me, the reason why you're reaching out to me. Now, step number 2. We do that typically the first week. And by the way, if you already have a great relationship and a great rapport with your database, you communicate with them all the time via newsletter, email, phone calls, text messages, whatever, you can skip step 1 and go straight to step 2. Step 2 is what we call the 9-word email. Now, this was an invention by a guy by the name of Dean Jackson. And essentially, it re-engages with a prospect. What is email? Email is really communication. What emails do you read? Like, no matter what, you're going to read them. You read emails that are either sent by a friend or someone you know, or it looks like a friend or someone you know. What are the emails that you skip? All those ones with beautiful pictures in it, great graphics, what we call HTML emails. They look really sharp, but you know immediately, well, that's from a company. It's not from a friend. So we want to send a 9-word email, and we don't want it to look splashy and flashy and all cool. We essentially want to ask one question. So the subject line of the email is their name. Send this out to Bob Jones, you put Bob Jones. In the body of the email, all we write is this: are you still interested in buying a home in Lakewood? Are you still interested in selling your Lakewood home? Are you still interested in buying that second property in Tahoe? Are you still interested in selling your second property in Tahoe? It's a simple question. And then you sign your name to it. And then you put whatever you legally are required to put. But most of the time that means getting out all of the junk that real estate agents tend to put in their email. I won this award, I sold this much, blah, blah, blah. No one cares about that. That immediately says salesman. I want to look like a friend. The most I have in mind is I do have my image and my basic data, but nothing about how many sales or even really what I do. It's just name, phone number, email, basic data. It's all you really want. That's the email. Now, everybody who doesn't reply, and you're going to get a lot of people who reply to your email. In fact, I would go into your head right now and give you $1,000 if I could to just do this one part right here. Every real estate agent who I've had do this, who's had at least 100 people in their database, has ended up getting business. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. So please take me seriously when I say just do this one step. But then everyone who doesn't do this, the next week, we move on to step number 3. Step number 3 is what I call a group automated personalized text, or GAPT. So what is a group automated personalized text? Well, we're going to send them a text message so it shows up on their phone. You can do this any way you want. There's plenty of programs out there that you can utilize or use your own phone. And it's going to say something as simple as, hey, Bob, following up from last week's email, are you still interested in selling your home? Pete Mitchell. Something really simple. Now, there's 4 magic pieces to this. Let me walk you through these 4 pieces. The first is we personalize it. Please don't send a text to someone without saying their name. Hi, Bob. Hi, Mary. If you just say, hi, Pete Mitchell here, well, they might think it's spam. And I got to look like a friend. So I do that by saying their name, and I personalize it. Hi, Pete. Debbie DeGroat here. Just following up from last week's email. Are you still interested in selling your Lakewood home? Step B, I've got to let them know who it's from. Now, here's the common problem that everyone makes. They send out a text. Sometimes they don't personalize it, and they don't say who it's from. They immediately jump to, hey, following up from last week's email, you're still interested in selling your Lakewood home. And someone's going, who is this? I don't even know who this is. We're looking at it going, well, of course you know it's me because I'm sending it. Well, they don't know you're sending it. They're getting it on their phone. They may not know your phone number. They may not have your phone number plugged into their phone. They may have bought a new phone and don't have any phone numbers in it. They may have, you may be using a texting platform and you have a brand new number that this text is coming from. So they have no clue who it's coming from. So hi, Pete. Debbie DeGroat here. Just following up from last week's email. Are you still interested in selling your Lakewood home? Now, the third step is what I call the bridge statement. So this is where we're addressing how I know them. Just following up from last week's email, just following up from the open house on Saturday, just following up from the virtual open house strategy that you saw, or the virtual open house that you saw, just following up from the first time home buyer webinar, just following up from the shredding event, whatever it is, however we met them, or the bridge that we need, that's what we're using right there. So we're kind of reminding them of what we've done before, how we know them. Then we move to our question. Are you still interested in selling your Lakewood home? Are you still interested in buying a home in Long Beach? Are you still interested in getting that second home in Big Bear? Are you still interested in selling that cabin in Arrowhead? We just go to our question. Now, if you want to bonus this or do what I call a plus this to that text message, you add a selfie. So this was funny when I was training Debbie on this a couple of years back. I'm like, Debbie, I need a selfie for our text messages. She's like, I don't know how to take a selfie. I mean, you know, right? She's not a tech person. So it's kind of funny. I don't know how to take a selfie. So we used to joke about this because, you know, this was one of the ones that she gave. She's waving her hand because I told her, I want a picture of you waving your hand. And so I had to explain, I go, you don't actually have to wave the hand. It's a still photo. So just have your hand up like you're waving and people will realize they're waving at me, right? So we've got one agent that I'm thinking about right now who's in Hawaii, and it might be appropriate for her, because she does this all the time in her videos, do a little hang loose, right? Because of where she's at, whatever it is. But you can add a selfie. So now they get a selfie and they have this personalized message. It gets people to respond. But let's say they don't respond to this either. So they didn't respond to the email. They didn't respond to the text message, which, by the way, you're going to get your most responses from those two groups right there. Then we move to step 4. So I call the slide voicemail. Now, the slide voicemail is where you leave a voicemail without the phone ringing. Again, just like with texting, the do not call laws apply to this. So you got to do this with your database. You got to do it with people you have a relationship with. And you need to take the time to find out the laws in your community for what you can and can't do, right? I don't want to take responsibility for what you can and can't do. Now, when you leave a voicemail without the phone ringing, it shows up as a mixed call. But we're going to do a little bit different of a message here. So I can't personalize this because it's a recording that I do, and then it gets sent out to whoever I'm sending it out to, everybody I'm sending it out to. So I can't personalize it. So I just started by going, yes, hello, Pete Mitchell here. Hey, I've been trying to reach you the past couple of weeks. If you or someone you know locally is thinking of selling their home, I'm working with a family right now that's qualified and ready to buy. We might be able to sell the home without listing it publicly. Give me a ring back at this phone number if you know of someone looking to sell. Thanks so much. So what am I doing here? I've already sent them a letter. I've sent them an email asking if they're still interested in selling their home. I've sent them a text message asking them if they're still interested in selling their home. I'm basically switching to I have a buyer strategy, or as I like to call it, the pivot. I'm doing a pivot because they haven't responded to my message before. Maybe something else is going to get them to respond. So I'm pivoting to a different talking point. In this case, it happens to be the I have a buyer strategy. It could just be I'm going for the referral. Or it could be talk to them about a forever home. Hey, you know what? I know you're not interested in selling your home right now, but I just saw this home that just hit the market that I think you're going to want to see. Maybe you want to take the time. It's a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath, corner lot, has a pool. If you want to see this, give me a ring back. Or if you know of someone who would like to see it, this is in the XYZ community, give me a ring back or send me a text at this number. I'll be happy to give you more information on it. Maybe that's what I got to do. Now, here's the key. Whether it's a text message or an email or a slide voicemail, when they respond to you, you need to reply to them within 5 minutes of their response. So notice, I'm not trying to sell on these things. When I send my email, it's are you still? When I send my text, it's are you still? When I send my voicemail, it's do you know someone? right? I'm not selling, I'm not going straight to the, I have a home, or I'm trying to list your home. I'm not going straight to that. What I'm trying to do is start a conversation with people. I want people to reply within 5 minutes of their response to me. So your job within 5 minutes and 60 seconds, whenever possible, respond back to that person. So let me review this. The 4 simple steps to what I call the instant client goldmine strategy. Step number 1, do this week 1, the pink elephant letter, the oops, I'm sorry, I didn't value you, but I'm gonna fix that moving forward. Step 2, the 9-word email. Now, if you keep in tight rapport with your database, skip step 1, go straight to step 2. Step 3, the group automated personalized text. Why do I call it a group automated personalized text? Because I want to send out a bunch of them. I want it automated and I want it personalized. Here's a pro tip. Don't send more than 50 at a time, because you will get a ton of responses if you follow my system. And you usually can't reply back to everyone if you've got more than 50 people that you send it to. Step 4, you send a slide voicemail. This is where we pivot to a different offer. The I have a buyer strategy, the forever home, the referral strategy, whatever it might be. In fact, let me share with you an example of someone who took this strategy and they just did the texting part, and they have a slightly different message, but you'll hear what their results were when they sent out their text message.
I'm Karen Schwan, and I'm part of the inner circle, and you send out all kinds of information that we can start our whole marketing program with, and it started with a text, and the text was sent to our clients that said, I'm doing a free home evaluation for my clients. Would you be interested in an updated valuation of your property? I sent it to 50 people. I got 25 responses. And I have, and immediately got a listing. Then I got a listing, I'm sorry, let me take that back. Seller buyer, 2 seller buyers who are planning to sell and buy, and 2 investors.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right, that's how powerful this strategy is. Now, I haven't followed up with Karen. I don't know if she's still doing it. I hope she is, because it still works. And you go back to your database later. Sometimes it's half a year later, but certainly go back to your database and do it again. So one of the questions I always get from people is, and by the way, that's the whole strategy right there. Right? That's it. That's the whole key to it. Those 4 steps, really simple, and it works, and it generates clients. But I get this question a lot. So who do I reach out to? I'm going to share with you what I call the magic formula for who you should reach out to. There's basically 5 groups of people. The first group of people are your current clients. Now, let me explain to you why I got a picture of my patio in this. And I literally just went out to the backyard and took a picture of the patio just for this point, right? That's the reason why it's nothing special. I left my kids' water guns on the ground and that old rusty fan that we actually don't have anymore. I just wanted to take this picture to explain this. So my wife and I, we wanted to have a patio cover installed. I'm a redhead. I'm not friends with the sun at all. So I actually don't like going out in our backyard, or didn't until we got a patio cover, because it's the sun, man. I don't like the sun. I live in the wrong place. I live in Southern California. I should not be here. I literally should be in Alaska, but that's a topic for a whole nother video, not in this program, right? So we called up several different companies. There's a whole story behind that. And we went with this company. Now, this company is a full-fledged remodeling construction company. So they came out, quoted me on the patio cover, what it would cost, and we decided to go with them. Now, that bench that the fan is on and the red pillow is on wasn't there. That was a flower bed. And I knew I wanted that turned into a bench. The TV that's on the wall, it has a cover on it. Might be hard to tell that's what it is, but that's what it is. That wasn't out there because I needed the patio cover first. And stuff in my office is actually in that part of the building right there. I had sliding glass doors. I wanted those removed, and I wanted what I have now, which are French doors, put in. There's a lot of things we wanted done in the house. They're a full-fledged remodeling company. Never once did they say, hey, Pete, while we're out here doing this, are there any other projects around your house that you'd like us to take a look at and maybe give you a bid on? If they had done that, I would have said, well, actually, I'd like this turned into a bench. I would like my sliding glass door taken out and French doors put in. I'd like the windows in one of our rooms taken out and bookshelves put in. All that stuff I wanted done. But they didn't ask. It was as simple as that. You can always go to current clients and get more business. Now, I'll tell you right now what I'm going to hear from you or what you might be thinking, because I hear it all the time. I get the, but real estate is different. If I'm selling someone a home, am I going to sell them 2 homes? No, you don't know that, but it's a reasonable assumption, but you still don't know it. What if you were talking to your current clients and you said something like, do you have any other real estate needs or current or concerns that I can help address for you, such as investment properties, family members that need to downsize, or friends that are looking to buy their first home? Why wouldn't I go back to my current clients? You don't know what else they can lead to until you ask. And I want you to ask. So what other needs might they have when buying or selling? This can help you generate more business from vendors. So what do I mean by that? Well, you know, we want to sell our house, but we need to paint the inside. Do you have any painters that you can recommend? Now, why would you do that? What's in it for you? Well, what's in it for you is you work out a deal with that painter and you say, hey, if I give you leads, I expect you to give me leads. And you make sure that your vendors are providing you leads. Oh, well, you know what? We want to have our pool redone. It needs to be worked on. Okay, let me hook you up with someone there. Well, you know, when we buy that house, we'd like to have a room added on. Okay, let me give you some contractors who I recommend. And all those people know, I'm giving you business, I'm expecting business from you. We got to start thinking more holistically with our clients. It's not just about the one transaction. So group number 2 are your past clients. So first we go after our current clients, then we go after past clients. So here's this tale of my 2 houses. I bought my first house in 2005, July of 2005. In December of 2006, I bought my second house, a year and a half later. Between buying the first house and the second house, I did not hear from my real estate agent who sold me the first house. They were gone, completely vanished. And a year and a half later, I went from buying a $500,000 home to buying a $900,000 home. So they could have made a lot more money had they just followed up with me. But they didn't bother to follow up with me. And why did I move so quickly? I actually hated where we ended up moving to the first time. It was, I call it the ghetto. It wasn't really the ghetto, but it was pretty ghetto. And I could get into it. It was not a good place. I was happy and anxious to leave there. Didn't like the house. It was really small. Didn't really like anything about it. Never followed up with me. Follow up with your past clients. You don't know what you don't know. I remember Debbie telling the story of one of her clients who just sold someone, I think a $2 million house. They just finished it and made everything look nice. The real estate agent called them up and said, I got to show you this other house. It's your forever house. Well, we just finished our house. It's beautiful. You sold it to us. It's great. You got to see this one. And it was a $3 million house. They ended up buying that one and selling the $2 million house. And that agent didn't double ended, but got the sell and the buy commission. You don't know what you don't know. We got to stay in contact with our past clients. Now, the third group you want to go after are your prospects. So who are your prospects? Your prospects are online leads, your friends and family, your database, your centers of influence, your open house leads, all types of groups like that. People who know you but haven't necessarily done business with you. They don't fall into the first 2 categories. Those are your prospects. That's who you want to reach out to next. Then the next group we want to go to is someone else's clients, AKA what we call joint venture partners. See, here's the reality. Someone else has spent a lot of money to get people into their database, and they have what we refer to as relationship capital. And you want to tap into that relationship capital. You've got a valuable service. They've got relationships. You want to bridge those 2 together. That's the 4th group that people should be going after. The 5th group is the cold market. Ironically, this is where everyone wants to go to first. Running ads to reach people who don't know you or have a connection with. That's the cold market. I know everyone wants to go there first. I mean, that's part of the reason why you're here in this program. Hey, show me how to do Facebook stuff. That's also one of the reasons why I like doing videos so much, is because we take that cold market and we warm them up and turn them into the prospect market, which is group number 3. So there's pros and cons to all of this, but here's that order again. Group number 1, your current clients. Group number 2, your past clients. Group number 3, your prospects and leads. Group number 4, your joint venture partners. Group number 5, the cold market. So when I say there's pros and cons to this, what do I mean? What I mean is this: you will have better results from the higher the group number, but it's harder to scale. There's only so many current clients you have. There's only so many past clients you have. There's only so many prospects and leads you have. But there's a lot more joint venture partners, and there's a ton of people in the cold market. That's literally everyone else. So we can't scale 1, 2, and 3 like we can 4 and 5, but we get better results from 1, 2, and 3 than we do from 4 and 5. But we can scale more. So there's kind of like this inverse curve, if you will. So we got to focus on all of these groups. It's not just about 1 or 2 or going, oh, well, I got this Facebook strategy, I'm done, or, you know, I got a few joint venture partners. Let's go get some more joint venture partners. And then we've got our current clients, our past clients, and our prospects and leads. Go after all of them. Sometimes you take a variation of the instant client goldmine strategy that I shared at the beginning of this video, and you do that. Sometimes we got to, you know, change it up considerably depending on who we're going after exactly. But that's your target hit list. That's who you want to go after. Current clients, past clients, prospects, joint ventures, cold market. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. If you have any questions, send me an email. I'll be happy to help you in every way possible, and I'll be talking to you on the Friday Q&A call. Take care.